Alright guys, let's jump right into our next percussion video. Today we're going to be focusing on sight reading and getting 20 minutes practice in to try to learn a song as well as we can first time we look at it, okay? So I'm going to put this down. You probably won't see my face for the rest of the time, but we're going to work on sight reading on the snare drum. Okay, we're good. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock for a 5-minute rudiment warm-up, and all we gotta do, I'm gonna do the first probably 5 to 10 warm-ups on my, or 5 to 10 rudiments on my rudiment sheet, and that'll be my warm-up for this. So I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the clock, and I'm just gonna go. First thing I'm gonna do, long roll, right? Here we go. And I've got this practice pad on here to mute my drum so it's not too loud. Alright, that's the long roll. I'll do that again. Let's do that at a tempo. I'll pick a tempo and we'll go with it. 116 is where we're at right now. Let's just do that. There's your long roll. Okay, let's do a 5-stroke roll next. That was wrong. Not getting what I want out of this practice pad here. Let me see if I don't have anything better. I'm just going to throw my phone on there. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. Let me put my earplugs in so that I don't damage my hearing while I'm practicing. Every percussionist should invest in a pair of earplugs. You can get fancy ones like I've got, or you can get just cheap foam ones from the store. Here we go. Same thing. 5-stroke roll. Speed that up a little bit. There's your 5-stroke. 7-stroke. I'm going to skip 7-stroke. I'm going to go straight to the flam. And we'll slow that down a little bit, back to 116. Let's do a flam accent now, number 5. Turn this off so I can get it into my head first. Yep. Alright, stay at tempo. get 3 hits on one hand. Okay, there's your flam accent. And your flam paradiddle, we'll do that. And that should be the last little warm-up I do. Yeah, I got 20 seconds left. Alright, feel nice and warm now. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go straight into our sight reading. Okay, I'm going to sight read Creepy Crawlies by Michael Story. It's like that. Okay, the percussion part in this is a grade 1, so it's pretty simple. But I'm just going to talk about all the ways that I go about reading through sight reading. And I don't often sight read on the drums, so I don't have as good of a system. But I'll try to apply my my other system to it. So what I do when I sight read everything is I use the acronym STARS. S-T-A-R-S. No, stop. S-T-A-R-S. I'm just going to start 15 minutes on the timer, so that's how long I have to do this. Oh no! Alright, got my battery back, and we are still going. S-T-A-R-S. STARS. Right? Each one of those letters stands for a word that we're going to look at. So the first S stands for signatures. Okay? And that way we're going to look at our key signature and our time signature. On the snare drum, bass drum, or any other real battery percussion instrument, you don't have to worry about the key signature. I'm going to sit down. I don't like talking to a not pointing at me camera. It's kind of weird just pointing at my not my face. So let's zoom this over and we'll play later. Alright, so that's not high enough. Cool. Alright, so signatures, right? And when I look at my signatures, I don't have to worry about my key signature because we are playing a drum. Drums don't have different keys. Okay, but we do need to look at our time signature, which is in 4/4. That means there's 4 beats per measure and the quarter note gets the beat. That means that no matter what, there's going to be 4 beats per measure. Okay, so I'm going to write in 4/4 next to my signatures. There it is. Okay, the next one stands for tempo. T stands for tempo, like that. What I do with tempo is I take my metronome and I set it to that tempo. This one is set to 1:16. That's our tempo for this tune. So this is how fast we'll go. Okay? And I've got that ready for when I'm ready to sight read through it. So tempo I'm going to write in 1:16 so that I've got it all there. Okay? The A stands for accidentals and articulations. Okay, and in music we've got some things that make notes sound different. So sharps, flats, naturals, accents, staccatos, and slurs that make your notes sound different. And another thing that percussion doesn't really have to worry about. You know, we don't have sharps or flats in the snare drum part because you can't make a drum sharper or flatter just by hitting it. At least you probably can, but you can't. So we just need to look and see if there's anything that might change the way we play these notes. Let's just take a look. I don't think there is. I think it's all pretty even. Yeah, there's one accent in measure 33 on beat 1. There's an accent over the note, and all that means is just to hit it with a little bit more oomph, a little bit more striking power to get a bigger sound out of the instrument. And there's another accent on beat 3 of the final measure, measure 48. Yigga-digga-ta. Hit it real hard. Don't hit it hard. Hit it with a lot of velocity, and it'll get a little bit stronger of a sound. So we're just going to write in a little accent, just like that. Okay? Just like that. And we're most of the way done. Next one is the big one for us. It's rhythm, or rhythms. What we're going to do, we're just going to look through it and make sure we've got all of our rhythms correct. Make sure we know all of our rhythms. And this one doesn't have any particularly hard rhythms, but we want to make sure we've got them all. So there's only about 4 real rhythms we're going to work on in this tune. And I'll draw them on the board, on the sticky notes for you so I can show you. The first one, And these rhythms might not come in right after each other, they might not be repeated, but they are the only rhythms we use throughout the tune. So we've got quarter note and 2/8 notes. We would count that 1, 2, and, or 3, 4, and, or wherever that is. But like your first measure has quarter note, 2/8 notes. Okay, so that rhythm is going to be 1, 2, and. So wherever you see this, that, not reversed, not backwards, just that, quarter note, 2/8 notes, 1, 2, and. What's great about this first measure, we've got it twice in a row. So we can count it 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Just like that. Okay? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay? So your first rhythm that you really want to fool with is your quarter and 2/8. It's repeated twice. We're going to have that rhythm. I'm going to put this on my wall so I can look at it and know how to count that rhythm. Okay? The next one is a set of 4/8 notes back to back. It'll only start in this song on the beat, so you're not going to have anything starting on and, but when you see 4/8 notes back to back like that, it counts 1 and 2 and. Okay, so every 8th note is either 1 or 2 or and or and. So 1 and 2 and, or if you're looking at the second measure, right, it starts on 3. So we've got 3 and 4 and. Regardless, it's the same beat pattern. You still 4 in a row at that tempo. Okay? So that one is also pretty simple. I'm also going to write in that it could be on 3 and 4 and, it could be on 2 and 3 and, it could be on, those are the 3 it could be. Okay? Not too hard. That's your second rhythm. Your third rhythm that is in this song is this steady beat that we keep with the low brass. Okay, so we've got, and this one's all about reading rests. You got to read your rests. So if we look at measure 3, quarter note, quarter rest, quarter note, quarter rest. And I'm drawing 2 lines on this paper. We've got 1, 3, 1, 4, everything else is a rest. It looks just like that. Okay, you'll see that pop up. This is the top line, or this is the first measure, this is the second measure. So the way this goes, and you can look at this song, it's in your Google Classroom, you can pull it up and follow along with me. But the way this goes, 1, rest, 3, rest, 1, rest, rest, 4, 1, rest, 3, rest, 1, rest, rest, 4, 1. Okay, it's all about counting your rest. If you don't count your rest, you're going to be late. Okay, and if you're playing this with a group, just remember you're following the low brass here. Okay, and you do that for a while. Of course, in measure 8, you add another quarter note, but you can read notes and rhythms, guys. That's not a hard rhythm. I just want to point this one out because you're going to want to play on this third beat, but you don't. You play on the fourth beat. So that's your third rhythm that might stump you. At measure 15, we get our fourth rhythm that might stump us in this tune. And it is the exact opposite of our first one. So our first one was quarter, 2/8. This one is 2/8 and then a quarter. And it's the same idea. Instead of 1, 2, and, it is 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. So this measure at 15. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Right? It's pretty simple. That's your third, or that's your fourth rhythm. I'm also going to write 3 and 4. I like to have sticky notes with me when I do this because I can have little notes that I can place all around the place that I'm sight reading, and I don't have to write in my music and get it all messy. Because I don't know what I'm going to need later on. Just for sight reading, I want to have these specific notes. So let's see if there's anything else in here that is any kind of weird. Counting rests is a biggie, but it looks like there's nothing else in here that is too complicated. It's just that set of 4/8 notes, quarter note 2/8, eighth note 2/8 and a quarter, or your offbeat thing with the 1-3-1-4. But everything else in here is just one of those 4 rhythms. Okay, you just gotta apply them somewhere else, and read along and follow along, and make sure you're reading your rests. Okay, it's not that difficult to sight read this song. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to move the camera up again and point it at my drum, and I'm just going to try to sight read it. How much time? I've got 5 minutes left on my clock. Great. I'm going to sight read this tune at tempo, and I'll just show you what it sounds like and how simple it is to sight read the stuff. Now that we've been through everything, oh, we didn't beat through everything. We haven't done S yet, the final S. This is important. We need to do the final S. The last S in stars stands for symbols and signs. Okay? And what that means is anything else that's in the part that we haven't looked at yet. So, dynamic markings, volume markings, like forte. At the beginning, we were forte. And we switched to mezzo forte. Make sure you follow your dynamic markings. Okay? If you're playing percussion too, you'll be playing triangle and woodblock. Make sure you know when to switch to and from triangle or woodblock. It'll tell you on your music. Let's see, is there anything else? There is a crescendo at measure 32 that we want to slowly or over time get louder to hit at 33 right on that accent. And then measure 34 we have an X that says stomp your foot. You're just going to stomp your foot. Okay? Easy peasy. Another crescendo at 38 to 39. And then we're just reading dynamic markings, fortes and mezzo fortes. It's real simple stuff, guys. We can do it. I'm gonna sight read it. I'm just gonna dig right into it. Hope I don't get lost. Here we go. I'm gonna set this back to my drum now, so I can see that. That'll work. It's a little crooked, but that'll work. Okay, and I'm gonna try to do this while turning pages, so I might look a little wonky, but I'm gonna try to be right on beat. And I'm gonna turn the metronome on so I don't get off beat here. Okay, there it is. That's my beat pattern, and I'm just going to play this tune. Plug my earplugs back in so I don't go deaf. And let's do it to it. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Ah, goodness. Need some snare drum on. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 1. And stomp. Rest. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Rest. 2, 3, 4. There it is, guys. Like I said, pretty simple tune to follow along to. It's a little bit harder when you play it with a big group, but really, it's very doable for you. Hope this helps you with sight reading in the future. You just gotta look into stuff and make sure that you're not going to miss anything pretty simple just because you weren't ready for it. Always prepare before you sight read so that you do your best job. I'll put a video out next week doing something else. I hope you're having a great semester so far. Let's look forward to the next 9 weeks. I will see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.